Well, that doesn't add up, right? I mean, you would expect much more for a guy so seasoned in Pac-12 play for all those seasons. Physical player, Desi Sills straightaway three. Vanover battling inside. It'll go to the Rebels. Kermit Davis, trivia question for Mark Wise. How many times has he been named a Conference Coach of the Year in his career?
I know the answer to this.
What? What is it?
Oh, how many different times?
Yes, how many different times?
I'm okay, 9.
Yeah, you got
it. You got to get up a little earlier. Come on.
Come on, man. I forget you read the game notes.
Well, this is what Ole Miss wants. Yep.
And Rodriguez slams it home.
You know, this is an Ole Miss team, and Kermit Davis, we talked to him about it today, they just struggled shooting. And when you look at league stats, they're 11th in field goal percentage, 13th in three-point percentage, last in free throw percentage. So anytime their defense can help them out, that's a good thing.
A 1-3-1 work that time, forcing the turnover, the steal by Buffin. And the Rebels to work, Schuler off the mark. Tracked down by Rodriguez.
Long shots, long rebounds. Guards got to get involved.
And Buffin draws the foul. He's going to shoot a pair.
Second
First
shot opportunity. Excuse me, Roy. Second shot opportunity for Ole Miss. That time it was Buffin not only getting a second look, but it was the ball fake that Connor Vanover bid on, which allowed Buffin then to get fouled, get to the free throw line.
KJ Buffin, 47th consecutive start tonight. And we're tied at 5. I mentioned Ole Miss in the upcoming schedule. It's a quad 1 opportunity for Kermit Davis. He actually mentioned that in his press conference this week. And we asked him about it, and upon further research, his club will get 4 quad 1 opportunities in their next 5 games. Translation, you can work yourself back into the NCAA tournament conversation with a couple of wins.
Kind of refreshing to hear a head coach talk that way, wasn't it?
I thought it was. That's why we had to ask him about it. Quad 1, this is the time of year where it starts to matter. Schuler off the steal and the flush. Ole Miss out in front. 4 early turnovers for the Hawks.
Again, if you're going to dribble, go somewhere. Here's the 1-3-1 with Buffin on the point. And Roy, you don't have to get a turnover every time for the 1-3-1 to be effective. What the 1-3-1 wants you to do is try and take unpracticed shots.
That was Devontae Schuler's version of the 1-3-1 on offense. It was 1 versus 3. And now Ole Miss in the midst of a 7-0 run. Rebels lead it by 4. Goal 24. 9-5 on the road. Rebels out to a 4-point advantage early on. Great to have you with us as always. Your Wednesday night SEC Network crew, Mark Wise and Roy Philpott. And Professor Wise, is never too early to start talking about the NCAA tournament bubble, quad 1 wins, resumes, all that good stuff.
Roy, we know on Selection Sunday that the committee is going to ask these 3 questions of every team in the country. Who did you play? Who did you beat? And where did you beat them? And when you take a look at Arkansas's resume, solid in the net and the BPI, the strength of schedule is a little shaky because they've had to overcome a weaker non-conference schedule. But right now, it has Arkansas and Coach Muss in that 11 seed in the last 4 byes. And that is never a comfortable spot.
Translation, you got to win some more games, right?
Absolutely.
It's not rocket science, it's basketball. Back to live action, Hawks back to work. Jalen Williams checking in for the first time. Desi Sills from the wing splashes that one home. He's been doing a lot of that.
Well, you and I have seen Desi Sills now. He seems to really like that far side of the floor, doesn't he? We seem to always watch him make that left-hander right in front of the bench.
Sweet stroke. Romello White goes to work. And a foul in the paint against Arkansas, and that's Williams' first.
A little smash mouth meeting between the two bigs there. Romello White's really not known as a guy who can catch it from 15 feet and create his own off the bounce. I'd like to see Ole Miss work him a little bit more block to block.
Schuler against J.D. Notte. Buffing against Williams. Attacking off glass. And Ole Miss back to a 3-point lead. Every single Rebel bucket has come into paint so far.
And the Rebels back to that 1-3-1. I had a chat with Kermit Davis about that today, about the genesis of that I want to get into.
I would imagine it's annoying to face when you're not used to it. Notte pours that one in with John.
Yeah, because some of the things that they do out of it, it's hard to simulate in terms of putting an athletic big out there on the front of, and the way that they choke off gap penetration. If you don't play the 1-3-1, it's awfully hard to ask your scout squad to play the 1-3-1.
Sure. Pseudo double team White. Good look inside to Buffett. Contact, no whistle. Smith carousing.
Here's a good look. Again, excellent transition defense by Ole Miss. Arkansas, no question, they want to score very comfortable in the first 12 seconds of a possession.
And Schuler that time, I believe going to be whistled for the infraction. Bullied over an Arkansas defender, or an offensive player, I should say.
Take another look. Ball screen by Williams, who kind of leaned to his right a little bit and gets away with that. But way too aggressive by Schuler trying to plow through that screen.
Can I sell you on Ole Miss kind of sneaking in a little bit under the radar and maybe having a chance to do some things these next 5 ball games?
You can if they win here.
Okay.
Boy, look at the outstanding coverage. Again, it's the 1-3-1. And when I asked Kermit Davis, where did you come up with the idea of the 1-3-1? He said, Tim Jankovich, who's now the head coach at SMU, used to be at Illinois State when Kermit was at Middle Tennessee, and they would get together every summer. And they got to, and they would just talk ball. Just the two of them would meet somewhere in Atlanta or Chicago and just kind of talk. And so one day, Tim Jankovich said, hey, I've been playing around with the idea of the 1-3-1, put the 4-man on top, have an active middleman, and kind of morph it back into a 2-3 or a man. And so Kermit Davis said Tim Jankovich never had the courage to run it, but he took it and obviously ran with it and has had so much success with it over the years. And here's the thing about Kermit Davis and that 1-3-1. He is willing to play it any time of a game, regardless of the score.
Yeah. Eric Musselman this week talking about facing the 1-3-1. You have to beat the pass. You got to be able to get past double teams before they're established, step through them. And that's really just the genesis of all of it. Jalen Tate's in transition.
That's really Jalen Tate's kind of game, really kind of score. He's known as a slasher. Here comes the double team. Oh, did we see this a week ago? There's the double team against Schuler.
Change the complexion. That comeback win against Auburn for Arkansas. Foul inside. That's going to put Rodriguez in the strike.
Take another look. Arkansas did this a lot last week against Cooper. And why not? What you're willing to live with on the backside, and Coach Muss has talked about this, is that you have to be willing that you're going to give up 4-on-3 opportunities, but it takes the ball out of the other team's best decision maker.
Well, how huge does that win look now? I mean, it was big then. You understood it because Arkansas had been in a bit of a slide. But to beat Sharif Cooper, not a lot of people right now in the conference are doing that. And the way he's playing, And who knows what he's going to be looking like by the end of the regular season, but that win for Coach Muss and company a week ago tonight, enormous.
Well, here's what I know, Roy. If you're an Auburn fan, it's Cooper rules. But if you're an Auburn opponent, you better come up with some Cooper rules.
You've been sitting on that one for like 4 nights, haven't you? You've just been waiting to unearth it. Tied at 13, 8 minutes in. Bud Walton Arena, limited capacity. Unfaithful have been loud at times this year. We heard it last week in that comeback. Here's a turnover, the steal by Devo Davis, who just checked in. 1 off 3. Davis off glass, count, and a chance for 3.
Big swinging momentum here. Going too far on the bounce on one end, Davis converts on the other.
2-point lead for the Hogs. They've won their last 2. In position for more, perhaps.
Double team to arrive so that Cooper has to give the ball up wherever he is, and then you get into the flow of the game. Sometimes even 3 guys can get involved defensively, especially when your head coach wants to be the 3rd defender.
And he does, by the way. Coach Muss wanted to get in there. He wanted to slap the deck for a couple of seconds and then D up Sharif Cooper, but they wouldn't let him on the floor at that point. That really did change the complexion of that matchup against the Tigers. Mark-wise, Roy Philpott leads 2 for Arkansas, just underway in Fayetteville. Critical game for both of these teams. Hawks right now on the right side of the bubble. Still early. We know it's January, but don't look and don't forget it'll be March before you know it. Look at that. Off of this free throw. Devo Davis a quick 4 points.
How quick was Davis to know where his miss was going and to react accordingly? That's trading 1 for 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Rebels scoreless in the last 3:37. That'll continue. Davis the rebound. He's been active. Vance Jackson on the court for Arkansas for the first time as well. Smith inside and a chance for 3 more.
Yeah, Smith looks better and better to me each game coming back from that injury where he had to miss several games. That's just a big boy basketball, if you will, getting the and one opportunity.
I like it when you go big boy basketball, smash mouth hoops. And here's Justin Smith, who can do a little bit of all of that. He's probably one of the top offensive rebounders in the SEC, if not in the country this year. Hawks now in the midst of a 15-4 run. And this is their largest advantage.
Well, this is the challenge for the Ole Miss squad. Can they limit the offensive droughts that they go through?
Austin Crowley searching. Now Matt Burrell, double teamed. Dangerous pass and it's picked off. Devo Davis, left-handed big. What a spot he's been off the bench.
Don't take the ball to the corner, pick up your dribble unless you know what you're going to do with it. That's a no-no on the cross-court pass. That's an easy piece of thievery by Davis. He finished that with the wrong foot. Coming out on the left-handed side. Arkansas on a run now.
Devo Davis, a member of the ESPN 100, designated 4 stars by our good friend and colleague Paul Biancardi, National Director of Recruiting, College Basketball at ESPN. And he is only just starting to scratch the surface for this Arkansas team.
One of the things that Coach Muss talked about this week, Roy, that intrigued me was he said really there's only 2 reasons to press in terms of going down the floor or double teaming, is to slow people down like a Sharif Cooper, or you press to speed people up like an Ole Miss. And right now the Hawk defense paying dividends.
Rebels have 4. I think they've 2 turnovers so far, but discombobulated. Trying to spot an open look. Where's the offense come from here?
I think Joyner's got to get involved. He's got to get shots off. He's a shot maker for Ole Miss. Here's the double.
Joyner, mid-range, and it's there. Well played, sir.
On cue.
Yeah, very nice.
Back to the 1-3-1.
Joyner's averaged over 18 per in his last 3.
See, now the 1-3-1's been successful. You've got your opponent in the last 10 of the shot clock.
Tate throws one up, well short. And Schuler trying to climb the ladder. That's an offensive foul, his second.
Yeah, I just don't understand. You've already got 1 foul. So why just bulldoze your way? No question, Moody's set. He's got his heels set. He's so set. And you've already got 1 foul. That's not helping the ball club. Stop and shoot a little 10-footer there.
How smooth is Moses Moody? I mean, he just does so many things. He glides around the court. You look up at the box score, suddenly he's got 20 plus. Makes it look easy.
Effortless.
Inside another bucket. Devo Davis with 8. And he's averaging 5.5 points per game. He already has 8. Arkansas leads again by 9.
See, this double is all designed to get the opponent in a chaotic mode.
Guess who? Off the block by Moody. Davis came away with it, and he was fouled.
Arkansas, talked about this at the top. Tempo, the tug of war. Quick hands of Moody on the block, which leads to the run out and Davis getting fouled. But that double team the ball, all designed to make the game a little chaotic. Ole Miss likes to connect the dots on offense.
That was the second foul on Jarkel Joyner.
I don't think the official had handed the ball and everybody was running the out under.
Ron Gruber directing traffic. Plenty of time on the shot clock. 83rd meeting between these two clubs. First one since last January. It's a comeback win for the Razorbacks. How about that look? And then a turnover. Joyner needs this one, and he'll get it.
He is so comfortable in that mid-range game, especially off the bounce.
I don't know that we've seen a single Alabama player take a shot like that this year, have we?
No, you get benched.
The mid-range does not exist.
Does
In
not
that 9-0
exist.
start in the SEC for head coach Nate Oates. Everybody's been talking about it, and rightfully so. Sammy Hunter.
Yeah, Sammy Hunter has a little offensive game. He hasn't had a lot of minutes this year. I think Kermit Davis will play anybody right now if you can score.
So after the miss by Jackson, Ole Miss hanging around, trailing by just 5 with possession.
Pretty good bounce back by the Rebels, isn't it? On the road.
And it'll stay on this end. Timeout on the floor as we step aside in Fayetteville. Fast start for the Hogs. Jalen Tate trying to get back in the mix. SEC Big 12 Challenge has ever been more important One of the reasons why Alabama undefeated in the league, right now projected as a 2 seed. The Tide are going to get Oklahoma on the road, which should be a fun game this weekend. And what do you make of the start in conference play and what Nate Oates has done in T-Town?
Well, that 4-0 record against Quadrant 1 obviously jumps out at you, and that would be another Quadrant 1 opportunity when they go to Oklahoma to play that game. As a matter of fact, Alabama, Roy, has 5 Quadrant 2 wins. So they've got 9 wins already in Quadrant 1 and 2, so that's one of the reasons why Lenardi's got them on the 2 line.
I'm not ready to talk about Quad 2. We're good right now in January. Quad 1.
All right.
That's what people understand. That's where we are.
So Alabama has 4 Quad 1 wins, and that's not the most in the SEC.
Oh, goodness.
Who has more than 4?
Missouri.
Which is tied with several other schools, including Baylor, around the country. And the only team with 6 Quad 1 wins so far, Gonzaga.
So Bruce Pearl's watching tonight. I'm going to put you on the spot. Does Auburn have a chance at Baylor?
Well, I'm not going to bet against Sharif Cooper. I'm going to tell you that. I mean, I think they've got a chance, but he's going to go against Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, maybe the best older backcourt in the entire country. So here's the thing and you and I had Auburn when they played without Sharif Cooper. That Auburn team had no shot at winning at Baylor. But with Sharif Cooper, he makes everybody around him better. And here's another misleading thing about Auburn that people don't talk enough about: their ability to block shots. They had 14 last night. We had them in a game where they had 13. I mean, these are ridiculous shot block numbers.
Just think about that team when JT Thor starts to grow up, and if Cooper comes back, and some of the guys that they've signed, Arkansas gets it back off the foul.
And don't forget, they're doing all this without Justin Powell.
Thanks for reminding me. Demencio Vaughn picked up the offensive foul, so he's getting some rare PT. What do you make of Vaughn and Sammy Hunter on the floor?
Well, again, Kermit Davis is going through the lineup. Hey, give me a little bit of a spark.
Jalen Tate launching and connecting. He's got 5.
Tate is 40% from beyond the arc now this year. A year ago, Roy, with the new line at Northern Kentucky, he shot 18%.
Something has changed. Debo Davis wanted the foul, didn't get it. Good defense by the Rebels.
Yeah, the young freshman, he goes north and south, doesn't he?
Yes. Like a vintage running back. Speaking of running backs, what a day it's been, the SEC in terms of football. I don't know what it is about you and me doing Wednesday night games. There's always a football story.
Yeah.
Tennessee has a new head football coach, Josh Heupel. The SEC football schedule was announced earlier today, which is fantastic.
I know that you have done several UCF games over the last couple of years. Your take on the Tennessee hire?
2 quick takes, as Wayne just picked up his second personal. Number 1, you're going to have an identity on offense as of yesterday, because that's what Heupel's going to bring to the table. Number 2, you're going to have an elite level quarterback in short order. I don't know how it happens, who it is. I don't know if it's already on the roster, but he certainly will develop it. And their style of offense is going to give fans on Rocky Top something that they have been craving and missing for a long period of time. So I think along those lines, it's a fantastic hire. He's got work to do as Joyner pours in another basket.
They don't need the play clock, right, at Tennessee next year for football?
They don't. Do me a favor, if you're a Tennessee fan and you're listening now, go back and watch the UCF Georgia Tech football game from last fall and watch the tempo with Dylan Gabriel, Josh Heupel running the show, and what they did on the road in Atlanta. That's just a snippet of what's to come in Knoxville. Now look, I don't know if it happens overnight, but you will put points on the board and more than what you did have in the last couple of years this fall. Mark it down.
Now you're talking my language.
Okay.
Defending, rebounding, come on.
Second foul on KJ Buffett. And coming up next week, South Carolina and Florida will kickstart our Wednesday SEC Network doubleheader down in Gainesville. And Mark and I will be on the call for Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. Commodores look better tonight on the road in Florida. That game will tip at 8:30 Eastern, live from Reed Arena. Right here on SEC Network, also streaming on the ESPN app.
This was much better execution by Ole Miss against the double team by Schuler. Watch this, Roy. Watch Romello White be active in the middle there. See him meet that pass? Much better job. Make yourself available.
Schuler had a chance to cut this to a one-possession game. Ole Miss still scoreless from the three-point arc tonight. The rejection by White. Tried to save it. Carried off his foot out of bounds.
You might ask, well, Desi Sills, that's ill-advised. Well, if it wasn't for Desi Sills and his second half last week in that Auburn game that you and I had, Arkansas might be on the wrong side of the bubble right now.
Yeah, that's a big win. I mean, they all are important, especially this year, because you don't know how many games you're going to play. The non-conference schedule, for the most part, was watered down. Notate tried to penetrate, and he was fouled. That'll go against White.
Trying to hedge on that ball screen. White never did get his feet out further than the offensive guard. That time, Notate.
Hogs in the bonus. Notate, 77% at the line this season. He's got 4 this evening.
Notate and Sills, they can create their own look at times. The question with Notate has been a little bit of his shot selection. He struggled in his last 3. Just 4 of 22 from the field.
I like what Musk said about Notate. He's the one guy we have that can get his own shot at any time, but it may not be a good shot when he gets it off, right? We're working on that, to your point. Yeah. High ball screen for Schuler.
Well, they're missing White on the duck in.
Step back 3 is too strong. The rebound fought for it, claimed finally by Notate.
Hard to pass the ball inside when you're dribbling. Catch and evaluate.
I like when you put your coaching cap on. Catch and evaluate. That just sounds like Mark Wise fundamentals, basketball fundamentals 101. Critical final 3.5 minutes here for the Rebels, trying to hang tight on the road. Sills thinks otherwise. And the coast-to-coast finish. He's got 5. The lead is now at 10. That's the largest of the game.
Yeah, that dribble handoff was at 50 miles an hour, and the defender was at 75.
When Desi Sills gets going, this Arkansas team becomes a very tough out, and I don't care who they're playing. Schuler the mid-range, and the 16-footer is pure.
Boy, those are tough shots, aren't they? Straight 2-3 this time. Out of the 1-3-1, just a different look. Make Arkansas think about what they're doing on the offensive end.
And I was going to ask you, too, sometimes we see the 1-3-1 and it drifts back into a 2-3, doesn't it?
Right.